Remember when you thought that it was cool to call people, "What up, pimp?" Or throwing around like the word gay or, "Oh, that's gay," and like assuming that, you were just the coolest person on the planet because you're like throwing out all these like burns, and as a millennial, that's heavily prevalent in, what consists in my own personal experience at school and high school. And this also ties to the reason why it's heavily unacceptable today. Ties into why I do the work that I do. Because as we move forward, things are going to get stranger. They've already gotten to the point where we're uncovering the ties of, the Illuminati with P. Diddy. Like, that's why we can't say, "Oh, you're a pimp," because that's going to look extremely weird in this day and age. And we used to idolize people. We used to believe in the media and believe in, something that we look forward to, the role models and celebrities. And I never really got into that. I mean, I love Keanu Reeves and Jim Carrey, no doubt. Everybody that knows me knows that I wanted to get those two tattooed potentially on my body because, they're hilarious. They break the mold, but regardless, it's such a weird world of vanity and throwing around money, throwing around names. It's just so makes my mouth feel gross. In any case scenario when the ego and the false self just stands and it breathes and it breeds, it just keeps going. There's this endless tie to the false identity, or, perhaps this is P. Diddy's fucking true identity, like there's horrible people in this world, but a lot of us can't hold that much falseness. Like, we can't sit with ourselves for that long knowing, the things that we feel shame for and guilt for. It completely directs our life if we haven't been able to uncover trauma. And rightly so, that's just the natural process. Being able to see how different times are getting, being able to see how much chaos are on the streets and in the media, and how much false, prophets are out there. It really gives me a lot of hope knowing that the system of human design is readily happening. We're gearing towards 2027, which is going to break people open to sensitivity and awareness and independence. It's being a person that has their own integrity and is capable of knowing how to be fully independent for themselves. And that really truly shines when you are authentic to the core. That can only really truly work if you do the work, so to speak. And it takes fucking years to uncover trauma and to really solidify who you are. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for a lot of the people that are out there today. Obviously, because, that's why my channel is called The Unpopular Opinion. And it stems from the desire to share how we can sculpt ourselves to tell our truth and to really kind of shape our path, you know, to make our path with authenticity and honesty to ourselves instead of, you know, the self-sabotage or the life of decay, which creates more numbness and inability to face, you know, the bullshit that you did to yourself, like the situations that you got yourself in. It's fucking hard. I come from experience, you know, there's things that are still hard for me to remember, you know, but you don't have to hide, you know, what you've been through. You don't have to create this life of numbness just to be able to face the facts that you made mistakes as a human being and you're wrong. That's really what's going to shape how good our culture can be and how stable our culture can be. And I see that happening every day. People are fighting for the truth. People are fighting to really prove that words are magic and that we can't fucking say the shit that we used to say. You know, it's offensive, it's brutal, it's really distasteful now. It's not funny at all to be that person. And that is why I want to make this video, because I have the hope that soon and in the future, as well as the present time, it really shows you like, wow, like the culture is changing. Although we have like Elon Musk and Trump and the politics and, you know, the war on being yourself, like gender wars or being gay or pronouns or, you know, AI, whatever it is, like that's completely swarming your consciousness and stimulating you in waves like that make you feel, wow, like I feel like I'm fucking drowning in all of this shit. The pandemic repercussions, like, sure, you know, that's part of our Great Depression, right? People will seemingly make it positive with comedy. I appreciate those human beings. It makes it really lighthearted and easy to deal with. And this is my way of making it lighthearted, saying that, you know, all of this is coming to light. All the things that are fallacies are coming to light. You know, musicians, actors, like the people that own the world, they're being shown in court. They're being really like looked at, and that could potentially shape the way our culture changes, because people will be elected by their authentic voice. They will be elected by how hard they worked and wrote lyrics that, you know, were deep. We have the potential to really reframe the way that people gain popularity, like it pretty much used to be from the very early times. You know, there was like artists that were weird that shaped the popularity of the times, you know, like I know things are kind of forced now. You know, people that used to be popular are forcing themselves to make albums that, you know, just purely don't hold as much gravity anymore, because it's scary to have sculpted your life and then all of a sudden you lose everything, you know, and it's really, no one's teaching people to just sit. Like, you don't have to buy, you know, the craziest things in the world. You don't have to have the most craziest net worth based off of your material things. You know, like, it all is giving us a plan. It's like, Sure, we have to show our faces here online to hold some credibility and reputation. And, like, a lot of us, this is our job. And a lot of us, at the beginning of YouTube just started because we wanted to share our education. All of this coming to light in the future as we steamroll towards 2027 is just going to show us, what actually holds gravity and whose word is true and authentic rather than those people that have been lying to us, shape-shifting, paying off other people. If anything, this is a message of, I guess the word would be hope. It's something to look forward to, even though the ground is falling apart and destabilizing. And let it be so. We just have to keep creating comedy. We have to keep educating ourselves through our trauma. We have to keep voicing our truth. Don't let any part of yourself be lost or uncovered, because what we're learning about is the majority of people have been through the same thing, whether that be sexual repression or sexual obsession or pedophilia or abuse, verbal, physical, whatever it may be. Like, we all have a depth of trauma that's hard to look at. And I've been seeing things come up that these courageous people are finally talking about, which is something that was unheard of for my parents' culture and my grandparents' culture. They just kept all of their trauma and they died with it in their grave. That is what creates this false foundation in the world. When people think that they're above this horrible situation that they have been put in. They think that they can fast forward or drink or smoke or, silently decay, and it's gonna make them stronger. If you appreciate and resonate with this message and you feel like you have something to say, I support that. You never know how much your life will change once you start telling the truth to yourself. It's more so important to tell the truth to yourself. And I give you all the courage to stand up and to really start living life from clarity, from a real place. A place that, you're not afraid of anymore. Shit happened to us, People had to come from the most savage of times, which is, back in the 80s when they're still handing out pedophilic texts. And it's insane to think about. It's insane to think about. That was so, apparently hidden, but really not. There's tons of proof. I can't even say that, people are learning through that. That's something that is insane. But it's finally coming and being uncovered and being looked at. And justice is happening for so many people. Don't give yourself a fucking stroke. Don't give yourself lies every single morning. Thank you for watching. My heart goes out to you all to your courage,